Hello, I hope all is progressing well. Welcome to I Don't Know. We can talk about it, where we discuss myriads of topics civilly, reasonably, and responsibly. My name is Kevin Dufresne. Our first topic concerns school closures and the observation of how closures may seem discriminatory. Considering how demographics may differ per city, town, county, however one wants to assess demographics, assessing populations may be challenging for any attempting to understand who is going to receive the most benefits in an educational atmosphere. Where might the educational atmosphere be? What might assist the individuals within the educational atmosphere to benefit personally, even if in a situation causing a disruption, not necessarily in learning personally, though in connection with an educational atmosphere of which one is subscribing to. I feel as though attending to possibilities of learning for emergency situations is most necessary for considering the learning of varying individuals with different learning parameters. Engaging in creating a fail-safe for an educational atmosphere to continue ensuring individuals engaging with an educational atmosphere continuously receive support beyond an emergency closure may prove extremely beneficial for any engaging with a particular educational atmosphere to maneuver with responsibility more efficiently, whether that be in continuous connection with the educational atmosphere experiencing an emergency, or if with a decision apart from a particular educational atmosphere of experiencing an emergency. I feel as though the considerations of demographics important to assess in connection with parameters of one's locale, of all in connection with a particular educational atmosphere. Especially considering not every school, not every county, not every city is experiencing a taxation equally, which I think is fair for one to consider when one is assessing what might an educational atmosphere be experiencing, not only in an emergency situation, though in connection with processes within an educational atmosphere. Being able to assess emergency situations between what supports an educational atmosphere helps one consider what planning might be. Processes before an emergency situation, ensuring the continuous improvement of any in connection with a particular educational atmosphere, particularly as a learner. I feel as though the article posits much to consider, and that much more is to consider in connection with locales, discerning between what is of a particular infrastructure, how many branching connections might be processing with the educational atmosphere that is considering an emergency situation protocol, if one does not already exist, to bolster any in connection with the particular educational atmosphere, particularly learners, well, long term. Not as a disruption, though, as a part of measures, if not one measure, ensuring the educating is happening well and the well-being of individuals is of utmost consideration with planning. Our next topic concerns names of schools. I find in the modern age, due to information being more accessible to individuals, with meaning, with individuals speaking about how one feels, what a topic may mean, what a symbol may mean, what a history is, what a her story is. Much needs to go into consideration about the well-being of any within a particular environment. I find interesting how many may learn of an individual of history, a historical figure, for example, Christopher Columbus, then not have any opinion otherwise than to obtain a good grade in the classroom beyond Christopher Columbus after learning about Christopher Columbus. When the information becomes apparent about the totality of a historical figure, then a different understanding comes about for the individuals in the modern age. Considering individuals of a particular time might have a completely different set of emotions processing in connection with modernity then. A modernity then may be nostalgic, whether that be a name, a memento, from a time when any might feel an attachment, a personal attachment of a symbolic representation, a symbolic connection between a time then that may, for a reason or so, feel sustaining what exactly is for one to personally determine, if one does not already know. Into modernity, that which might make one feel a particular kind of way. I feel as though respecting modernity can be quite useful, especially considering the individuals in learning environments, in educational atmospheres, that are aware of what a symbol, a name might mean by background information. I feel as though individuals within the educational atmospheres need to have respect from any entity able to implement such change. Whether the respect be by a showing of a fair vote or a respect by considering what any change might mean after any happening, in tandem with what a situation means in reversal after the initial change, after it happening. Really paying attention to how to integrate the individuals of a particular educational atmosphere may prove valuable for the larger community, assessing how to better understand coming generations, which may be more reason for discourse than divisiveness. Everyone has an opportunity to have a conversation which may be more peaceful than if seemingly warlike by efforts, seemingly negating what any others in connection with a particular educational atmosphere may feel. Is renaming an entire school going to be a way to better connect with individuals within the educational atmosphere? Within a particular locale even? All right. It's origami time. Today we have a rectangle and we're gonna make a square. We're gonna take the short edge to the long edge and we're gonna thread the rectangle after we fold the flat. Now, a square is apparent. Our next step is to fold the square in half. Long ways. Squares are equilateral. We're going to go edge to edge is what I mean. We're not going point to point. After the first fold, we're going to fold again toward the center line. Today we're going to be making an origami hopping rabbit. The next thing we're going to do here, after we have our folds in from our square going into the center, we're going to fold in a corner. Then we're going to fold in another corner. So now we have our corner looking like this. Our next step is to open up our corner, and we're going to make a diamond with the corners. Then we're going to fix into another fold. But first, let's completely make our diamond. As you can see, now we have our diamond here, and what we can do next is we're going to actually take this portion here from our top flap. It's very important. We're going to take this and we're going to bring it over. After we do this, we're going to actually fold this paper in half. Now we're going to have to pay close attention to how we work this. We're going to actually end up opening this paper. So we're going to open this paper here, and you'll likely see a nice little crease. So we open this paper, and we're going to just fold in now. So a smart idea to help with your folding is you can actually do it from this step. Just fold both edges to edge. This way you'll have a unique set of fold, and of course you can do it again here, so it makes it easier. And you can do this along the way. You don't have to go all the way back to do these folds, as long as it's edge to edge both ways. Again, we're going to take this portion, we're just going to fold in. Again, we're going to fold in from this point to this nice wonderful square here. It makes it a lot easier, as you can see, to fold it across this line. Then we're just going to open this back up, and then we're going to do the same thing with the other side. We're just going to open this up, fold it, and this way we're going to have our next fold happening here. So what we do now that we have this fold here is we're going to bring in both. We're going to bring in both sides. Okay, we're going to bring in both sides. Now, once we bring this in, another thing to do here is you can take this tip of this and fold it in. It helps. Okay, we're going to take this in. Take this in. We're going to have a little bit of a diamond forming at the mouth. As you can see here. Okay. Next, what we're going to do And due to it being the consistent style design on both sides of the paper, you have to look really closely. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take this fold here. We're just going to fold it up twice, right up here. Okay. Then we're going to just kind of fold it, unfold it here. The next thing we're also going to do is we're going to fold in both sides. Okay, so you're going to just take both sides in and just fold them. Alright, fold them in both sides here. And then again, you're going to just fold them in, fold it in up to the line. Okay, now this is where it's going to get a little bit tricky. Pay close attention here. After you get these folds in, right, we have this piece. We're actually, after we make our second fold here, we're actually going to take this part, we're going to turn it over, we're going to open this all up a little bit, not too much. We're just going to fold it back. You see this line right here? There's a line here, your top line closest to the head. Just going to take it and you're just going to fold it back. Okay? Now, what you have here is the head. Okay, so then what you're going to do is you're going to fold in this portion here. Let's get this piece out. There we go. Fold in this portion here. So then you'll have you'll see the arching happening here. Now as you can see, we're going to have our footing here. And we're going to have right here our head. So when we take this in, you can adjust this, a variation from the instructions, the bottom leg to be a little bit more pointy. We'll get back to that, but let's just flow with this. We're going to take this inside here, so take this in here. So as we flow with this process, we'll just get another variation of the rabbit. And then we'll take this part in here and then just fold in the ear part here, so we'll have some sharp bunny ears, as you can see. We have a sharp little bunny ear, you see that right there? And now that we're here again, the design I'm talking about, this looks more of a froggish design, and you want to fold this back so you can get some more pop in the face. You fold it back. So the design here, if you have it here, it will basically pop. And the more bend you add to it, the more you can get this to pop. Now, there is a way you can fold in, and I'll leave that to you experts or triers to get into it. And you can just come in here, and again, I feel like I have a cobra rabbit. So the hopping is possible, and you just come in here and then you get this little whoop. Okay. Whoop. So right now, let's just call this the origami rabbit cobra frog. It's just ready to pounce at you. Of course, you can find the instructions for the particular origami for yourself via a link in the summary of the YouTube channel. Our next topic is about reading a physical book. Reading a physical book has so many benefits. The book we're going to discuss today is a ledger of Nelson Mandela. Ideally, through Nelson Mandela's practicality, from before Nelson Mandela's imprisonment through Nelson Mandela's presidency, as well as with many considerations beyond Nelson Mandela's presidency. I find the history appealing because of not necessarily knowing of Nelson Mandela beyond a name, understanding the figure symbolically from a distance. I find the union from Nelson Mandela's efforts, not alone, mind you, prove community is possible through reconciliation beyond any emotions that one may be harboring from a particular time or a particular upbringing. One may reconcile forward into a new modernity, considering change is a part of life. I really find valuable how the government landscape is on the table, varying so much through the unification process, which is not a perfect process, though leaves one to understand possibilities as well as what perspectives are at hand that want attention, that may need attention because of how varying entities politically assess political situations, especially in relation to another political entity. Economy is very present in every political conversation, from the archaic sense of anything to do with the home, which is realistically what modernly economy resonates with. The text is full of wonderful stories, wonderful lessons of leadership, of compassion, of methods effective toward better, if not just good, resolves, routes. I think the continuation of good growth is always a conversation of legacy, of responsibility for a coming generation, which modernity must hold on to, building wisely, discerning wisely, progressing forward from wherever toward good, reasonable, sensible destinations, which are really like checkpoints to a greater, a better, of the objectively good. Thank you for joining. I don't know. We can talk about it. Onward and Upward. Kevin Dufresne.